doing? Thought I'd just do a little short live here and see if mobile tech is okay from his surgery, if he'll get on and tell us about it. I know that he got out of his surgery because I posted a short and he commented on a couple of them, so that means he did get out of his surgery. So now he'll just get on here and tell us about it, huh? How you doing, Steve? How is it in Arizona? Is it still hot, or I know you guys been getting some weather, some rain and stuff. But man, that reminds me of I went yesterday morning to go do record another car show, and I was sitting in my car waiting for the cars to get in because I was there real early, like 7:30 or so, and it started at 8. And around 8 o'clock, there's only like about 10 cars or so. I just sat there, but I was facing east in the van, and I didn't look behind me. But behind me was like a big, giant wall clouds and stuff of storm clouds and stuff. And then I saw another YouTuber over there, and he was filming. So I went over and was talking to him, and all of a sudden, all the cars started leaving and stuff. And I went, "What are they all leaving for?" He goes, "The storm." And I went, "Whoa, that's what." Hello, Kyle's Vlogs. How you doing? How you doing out there in Florida? Cooled off here, camping in the monument a couple times past our place. Yeah, I saw that. That's pretty cool there, Steve. That you're able to do that, man. That's really cool. You know, I didn't really recognize the spot you were in, but you know, I know that it's less than 6 or 7 miles from the house, and that's really cool to be able to do that. If something really bad happens, or if you get into really bad weather or something, then you could just say, "Well, let's head on home." You know, that's pretty neat, man. But hopefully, you guys got a bunch of much needed moisture and rain and stuff. So I'm still nursing my cup of coffee here. Hey, Todd, how you doing? Mr. Todd Saw. You got some good videos out there, Todd. I've been watching some of your stuff. Well, your beer tastings and stuff. I like when you hop on your little e-bike and go drive around town and stuff. That's pretty interesting. Interesting stuff. I may not always jump in there with a comment. I try to, you know, but I do watch them all. So, what's everybody doing today? It's Sunday. Is everybody watching NFL? I'm not really. I've got it on, but I'm not really. Of course, I'm happy about my Sooners are back in the mix and stuff. So, college football. If you guys watch college football, it's a big mess right now because they can't keep the polls straight, and everybody in the polls lost yesterday. So we got a couple of inches of rain. Finally, the desert looks green. Yeah, that's what happens whenever it rains anywhere near the desert. It seems like the next day or so, you get a bunch of everything will start turning green, you know, and hopefully it'll rain down there in that quartzsite area too, so it'll wash away all those bad smells and stuff, you know. Make it a fresh season for all those people going down there. What else has been going on, everybody? Talk to me. I'm gonna stay on here, and maybe Mobile Tech will get up and he'll actually get on here or something. I don't know. But he had a ton of stuff that he needed surgeries on. I don't even know if it's finished with it all, but he was talking about they're gonna put a stent by his heart and all this stuff, and you know, and then something on his legs and all this stuff, and so hopefully he gets through all that, you know. Mobile Tech's older than us, but he's been around for a long time, so he deserves our respect, you know. He deserves our respect and just for all his stories that he can tell us. The Can Mac Project. How you doing, sir? You're Todd's buddy there. You're and him are the ones that are always doing the beer taste and all that kind of stuff. Good to see you on my live here. Q did get about an inch, says Steve, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Yeah, Mobile Tech went for a major over. That's what I told him on the last. He did a live stream with me right before he went in, or about a week before he went in, and that's what I ended up telling him. You know, after he said all the stuff that was wrong with him, I just said, "You're just going in there like for a major overhaul, you know, and that's about the size of it. Replace everything, you know." You know, but you know, I was kind of worried about him going in there because anytime you do go in for any kind of surgery where they put you under, you know, it's always considered serious, you know. And that would be the worst thing for you, going in thinking you're going to do something routine or something they put you under and you never come out of it. That would be horrible, you know. But yeah, I had you know, he lives up there in shoot, I can't even remember the name of it now. Starts with a Y. Yearland something up there in northern Nevada. It's past Lake Tahoe and all that stuff too. So I was wondering, I was going to ask him if he came on here, like where did he go for his surgery? Was it close and all that? And who got to babysit the dog and all that kind of stuff, you know. If you live by yourself, you got to make adjustments for all that kind of stuff, you know. Uh-oh. I guess you guys can hear me pretty good. I didn't even have my ear thing on. Hello, test. Okay. What's the Canon Mac project doing lately? What kind of lives are you guys doing, and what kind of stuff are you guys getting into today? There, Canon Mac and Todd Saw. I know it just can't be a coincidence that I see you both on my live stream. So you guys must be up to something. Hopefully it's something good, you know. I got my guitar out and was playing a little bit. You know, I was pretty happy with it. I was like, well, I won't tell you. Well, for the last couple months, I got like some super heavy duty strings, and you know, they're the size of strings that Stevie Ray Vaughan played on his guitar, but they were so stiff that they hurt your fingers, man. Hey, there you go. There's another Mo bang for your bucks. He's okay. Mo's okay. Yeah, I saw Mo, you know, on a couple of live streams and stuff. So hopefully he'll be okay, Mo Bang. Mo Bang for your bucks. Everybody go check out Mo Bang for your bucks channel. He's pretty good. He adjusts his he's got a minivan kind of thing, and he always adjusts everything where you do it the most economical way, and he comes up with all these tips and tricks and stuff that'll save you guys money. So definitely watch Mo Bang. I was trying to figure out that lead part to that song, Ain't No Love in Oklahoma. Oklahoma. Said I'm headed out to the grocery store to get some meat to cook on the grill, but I'll leave this running to help out the channel. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Todd. Oh, make sure you get enough of everything so we could all come over and have some of that. That sounds kind of good, man. Not anymore. Anymore. I'm here to cover for Todd. Okay, that's good. That's good. I think Steve's still in here, Mobang. Where are you at now, Tim? You out on the West Coast somewhere? I saw where what's his name? The Australian van guy. He went out to the West Coast to go see the redwood trees and stuff. You can't put bad people in the corner. That's how they did it in the old days, Tim. Remember that? I don't know if you remember that, but you got in trouble, you got to go sit in the corner. Yeah, that's who it is. Aussie Van Man. Aussie Van Man. Yeah, him and that John guy from up there in I guess it's Washington or Oregon where he's from. I think it's Oregon. They met up and they went to the redwoods and all that, and they were going through the woods and stuff. That's kind of interesting. That's a little bit different than what everybody else is showing, you know. And you know, and I wondered about part of that where they go, we're gonna here at our camps. Aussie Van Man mentioned it. He was saying that he had to find a good place to put his little Starlink because all those trees all around there, you know, you had to find an open space for it, or else you wouldn't have any Starlink, any signal. But yeah, it makes sense because some of those trees are what 200 feet tall and stuff, you know. And plus, I think whenever you get out there to where the redwoods and all that is, I don't think it's free camping anymore. I think you've got to pay to stay in a paid campground. But that's okay because sometimes when you're out on the road traveling around and stuff, it's good to get a good spot that has electricity if they have it, you know, so you can charge everything back up and stuff. Either that or else have tons of power stations like a lot of people do now. Have you noticed that? That's what I've been noticing too on the when all this started out, van life and all this, you know, and I've been watching the videos for like 5 or 6 years, but back then they all sat there and would rave about all these power stations, you know, like Jackery this, the small Jackery. But as the years went on, the power stations are getting bigger and bigger. Now they're just like giant power stations, you know. Now you can barely carry them, but they're like 40 and 50 pounds, but they last forever, they said. Well, yeah, they should if they weigh that much. But I saw this one guy that he was converting a box truck, and he's got some kind of Blue Eddy, and I forgot what kind of system name he said, but it's like hooking all these power stations together, and it's about 4 or 5 foot high and about 2 or 3 feet deep and stuff. And he's saying this'll last for a long time. Well, yeah, but you know the price of it was like $5,000, so it should do you good, you know. But I was just thinking about that, going, remember when power stations were small and you could charge them up real fast and stuff? But now they're all huge power stations, man. You know. The K&Mac position project is Sock Monkey that I do the live stream with. Oh, okay. Okay. Sock Monkey. So I'm supposed to call him Sock. Say, hi, Sock Monkey. How are you? Personally, I stay out in the boom to have peace and quiet. Exactly, man. Exactly. That's what you do. You find you a good place. I found some good places. Well, it wasn't exactly totally peace and quiet, but when I was staying out there in Kingman, Arizona, it was really nice because it just really was, man. You know, and it was. You might have a rainstorm here and there, but for the most part, it was nice and quiet. And the other campers that were near you, the area I camped at probably could hold like 8 other cars, but they were all spread out and they were all nice and respectful whenever they at nighttime came. You know, when it's nighttime, there's a quiet time, so you're supposed to get your peace and all that stuff at that time. Stay disconnected, exactly. I like the way you think there, Mobang. Just call me Sock. Just call me Sock. Hey, there's Arlene. Hi, Arlene. How you doing? Good to see you. I just started a little live, and I was wondering by chance if Mobile Tech would come on and tell us about his results to his surgery. You were here last time, and remember when he was telling us about all the stuff that he had to get done and stuff. And he did get out of surgery, Arlene. I don't know if you watch how long you've been watching, but he did get out, and I released a couple of shorts the last couple of days, and he did comment on those. So he's commenting on shorts. So he's out of surgery. I don't know what kind of condition he's in, if he could get up and about or what. But that's what the title of this live was. How is Mo? But hope you're having a good one today, Arlene. I'm glad to see you in here. For those of you that don't know Arlene, and most of you probably already know her because she's in all kind of lives, and you'll know that she's like one of the top mods of all time, man. She's like the mod of the year and stuff. Here you go. Here's another one. Here's another one I like. Shawnee Groves. How you doing, Shawnee? Well, actually, I was wondering because we were wondering about Mobile Tech. I think you know Mobile Tech. I think he went and subbed to you, but he on the 15th, a couple of days ago, he had to go in and have a lot of surgery and stuff to become well. We kidded about him, and he's going to be, we called it being overhauled. He had to go in and get his body overhauled. But yeah, I was hoping that if he was up and about and he's okay, then he would stop in here and tell us himself. That's what the live is all about. But happy Sunday to you also, Shawnee Groves. Everybody go check out Shawnee Groves. She has a heck of a channel, and it's getting bigger and bigger. She just reached 1,000 subs, and I think she's been monetized and all this stuff. So you can go there and watch her channel grow as well as her garden, and I'd be interested to see what kind of stuff that's going to go on in your garden and go on in your garden during the winter time. When is winter time up there? I guess it gets cold right about now, huh? So a lot of stuff, I guess stuff will just die away, and some of them will come back, And that'll be cool. That'll be cool when they come. It's always cool whenever something comes back, when you don't have to replant it. For me, when I had my little mini garden out in the backyard, the thing that I got so excited about every year was I planted asparagus from seeds. I made them get into little plants first. I kept them soaked and then put them in the ground, and I got a good little bunch of them, enough for me, and it wasn't enough to stockpile or anything. But after the first year of getting a lot of asparagus all summer long and stuff, then I went, well, I'm going to miss that. And then next year at the same place it came up, and I went, all right. And I think it went on for like 4 years. It kept growing, it kept coming back. But then eventually it went away. Yeah, he had surgery. He had to put a stent or something in, and then plus all this other stuff. When they told him he had to do that, they told him you have to do this, and you have to do that, and all that, and I was just kind of worried about him and hoping that he'd show up on my live, if it's possible. He might still be in the hospital room. I don't know. I picked carrots, dried beans, lettuce, and herbs. Oh, cool. So you still have a good thing going on with your garden, and that's nice, man. Yeah, we have a conversation coming up talking about contaminated soil. Oh yeah. That's something that you have to consider also. I mean, there's a lot of things that can get in the ground that contaminate it, and people just don't know about it. But yeah, I hear you, man. That'll be a good one. I need to listen to that one at least. Let's see. Let me read through the comments here so I don't get so far behind. There's Kyle's Vlogs again. Hello again, Kyle's Vlogs. He was in here earlier. I don't know if he got to say hi to everybody. But he's out there in Florida, and he does some live streams and stuff. So you might wave to him and show him some support. You know, that's what we're all about here, is giving everybody support. I usually get along with just about everybody that comes on my channel, and they're welcome to come up on my live streams and stuff and all that stuff. So things are still growing. Yes, good, man. That's good. Just off the top of your head, what are a couple of winter time things that'll grow? Is there anything that'll grow in the winter? Yeah, Steve. I want to thank Steve again too, because it was Steve that I started watching him. I don't know how long I've been watching him, a year or two, but then he started messing with this thing called Suno, and it's an AI based thing where you can create songs and stuff. Like you can put in the chords of a song, or put in your lyrics, or put in whatever, and make a decent song. Just tell them what you want to do. Like, say I want trumpets, I want a piano and a violin, and make a slow song that's just under 2 minutes, like this and that. And I started messing with that, and now now I've got like a whole library full of music that I've made through there, you know, and then so that's going to help with all my videos and stuff, you know. If you notice, I've been putting out a lot of small, short videos that are old clips of my camping trip, but I'll have music with them, and that's the music that I've made through Suno. And thanks, Steve, for that. And, you know, I hope you guys enjoy it, too. I hope you enjoy it if you listen to it, Steve. But that's all your fault there. Mobang says, not a tune-up, but an overhaul. Yeah, it's more like an overhaul instead of a tune-up, so. I'm doing good, Arlene. I'm doing good. I have a couple of personal problems that I have to deal with here at the home base. So before I head back out on the road and stuff, but maybe I'll address it next time or on a separate video. I'll talk about that. But I don't want to talk about it right now because I'm in a good mood and I want everybody to stay in a good mood. So we'll talk about that later. Suno is fun. Yes, it's real fun, man. It's real fun, man. And I appreciate for me to watch you and you being my friend, and then you started messing with that Suno, and then I caught on to that too. And I was amazed at some of the songs that you were putting out there, and I went, I need to try that, you know. And at first I was obsessed because I play guitar and I've been a songwriter for a long time, so I've had like a lot of stuff that I've written down, mostly back in the 70s and 80s, you know, and early 90s and stuff. But I started putting those in there and working with those, and was pretty happy with the results. So yeah, Suno is a lot of fun, man. Winter rye will grow. As far as harvesting, a lot of root vegetables are okay. Yeah, the root stuff. Yeah. Yep. As long as I guess if they don't get totally frozen all the time, you know. I guess you guys don't have that permafrost there. Like in Alaska, I think they have, like, you dig down to a certain level and they call it permafrost, and it's there all year around there. So winter, and then let's see. Winter for others means grow a lot of things like California. Yeah. Well, I don't really know. Well, you can get snow and stuff in California. There's places, but it's usually up in the mountains and stuff, you know. It's very rare for you get a lot of snow and ice and all that stuff in California, you know, that'll wipe out your crops because they're just in the perfect grow zone, you know, temperature wise, sunshine, everything is made for growing out there. And some of those highways, man, I went from this place, from Ventura, I went east and I went on this one highway towards Santa Clarita. And on that highway, it was amazing because you just passed like lemon fields, all tons of lemon fields. And they even had little rest areas where you could pull over. And you could actually reach over to the side of the thing and grab lemons off the tree if you wanted to. But I wouldn't want to do that and get caught by the farmer. But that's kind of cool, you know, that they can grow all that stuff. And And when I went there was in March. You know, you think in March nothing's you're just planting your garden here. You know, but out there everything is growing and stuff all the time. You know. Reno, California is cold. Yeah, I bet, because they're up in the mountains. That reminds me, reminds me of a story, Mobang. One time back in the 90s, me and my friends from Colorado, we were driving on the way to California, and we stopped in Reno for breakfast at a restaurant and stuff. And if you ever been to Reno, the lake there and all that, it's so deep that it's like ice cold at the bottom. And that particular weekend that we stopped there, we went for breakfast, and in the newspaper they said they found a body in Lake Tahoe, and then and it was perfectly preserved. They didn't show it, of course, but they said it was dressed in like a 1700s attire. You know, you could tell by the way they're clothes and stuff, and the buttons and all that stuff. And this poor soul got, I guess he got something, whatever happened to him, he got jammed under there, but he was perfectly preserved. And something happened through all these years, and his body came up, and went, wow, you know, that's something else, you know, that he's like perfectly preserved. And I'll never forget that. I'm not going swimming in that lake. Can you imagine? You know, sit there and something happens to you, and then you come back a couple hundred years later, and they sit there and poke at you and stuff. Central Texas here and have most of the fall garden going. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You know, that's right. When all your stuff start fading away and all your tomatoes and stuff are gone, you guys start planting all the stuff. But you know, you plant your whatever you can for fall. You know, before the weather all goes away. If you have coverage and temperature control, then leafy greens like kale, spinach, and collards, and root vegetables such as carrots, turnips, and beets can be available if they're grown to maturity. Exactly, man. I like carrots too, and I like beets. I don't know about turnips. Turnips, if you cook them right, then they're okay. Yeah, if you cook them enough where you can't taste them, they're okay. No, actually, they're pretty good. They're okay. But turnips and carrots and beets are all supposed to be real good for you, especially the beets. But I recently saw this recipe on one of the sites. I don't know if it was YouTube or Facebook or whatever, but they will try this recipe out. And she took some slim carrots, and she didn't peel hers, but she cut them in small pieces. They took little bits of bacon and wrapped them up. So it was bacon wrapped carrots, and she cooked them in a whatchamacallit, air fryer. Didn't take too long, and when the bacon was done looking, it looked excellent, man. You know, and she goes, "Wait, I'm not through," and I think she poured some kind of honey over it. But I went, "Wow, that would be a good recipe." I don't know about the honey part, but just the bacon around the carrots sound pretty good to me. What do you guys think, huh? Fall Gardens rock. Yeah, rock on. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. What on earth? But at least they tried it with carrots first, you know. I think I'd try bacon wrapped carrots before I'd try bacon wrapped turnips or bacon wrapped beets. But I don't know. Who knows? Somebody will come up with that. You know, it's like every time you have a state fair come into your state, every year they have something that's fried, deep fried candy bars, deep fried this, deep fried that, you know, or deep fried this and then dipped into chocolate, you know. So. See? I mean, I like bacon and carrots, but yeah, I know, but that's what I thought too, watching it. But she showed it, and then she showed the results, and it didn't look bad, you know. Of course, everybody, when you're talking about bacon, some people won't eat bacon unless it's like totally crispy and you touch it and it falls apart. Some won't eat it unless it's halfway done, you know, or just floppy or whatever, you know. Everybody has their own recipe for bacon, you know. I just like bacon. I could have mine either way, and there just isn't anything like a good BLT, and especially if it's made from some stuff out of your garden. Oh man, it's so good. You know, I mean, fresh tomatoes and lettuce, not the bacon part, but the fare should be completely different. Yeah, 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 they should, but you know, it's more fun for people to sit there and go, oh look, deep fried Twinkies. Hey, there's Tammy. How you doing, Tammy? Tammy Fellows, Von Eric. How you doing? I followed Tammy from Brexton, Texas Adventures, Brexton's lives and stuff. And Tammy, you want to tell everybody about your story about the Von Erics, or do you want to keep that quiet? Or can I say? Is it okay if I say? If you tell me it's okay, I will say, you know, I will tell them. But if not, then I won't say. So, and how are you today? And I don't know where you're at. I don't know if you're in Texas like Brexton was, or what. But Brexton has some wild lives. This guy does. He has white beard and white hair, so he does he's a portly little gentleman, so he likes to dress up as Santa Claus, and that's what he does during the winter months, and he does pretty good with it too. He's gotten to where they call him. He doesn't have to call anybody. They say, "I need you on this day. That day is coming as Santa." So that's pretty good. You're good with it? Okay, then I'll tell him. I'll tell everybody then. Tammy is a widow to one of the Von Erich brothers. If you guys have known who the Von Erichs were, the wrestling family and stuff. So yeah, she knows about the Von Erichs, and I believe that they pretty much took her in as family and stuff, and that's a cool thing, you know. I think a lot of the Von Erichs were or they buried in Dallas area from what I heard Brexton say. Brexton's into, you know, the famous people where they're buried at and all that stuff. So he was saying stuff about that, and they're going to visit their graves and all that kind of stuff. But yep, so that's pretty interesting stuff, Tammy. And I hope you get a lot of people to sub to you and your channel grows. That'd be kind of cool. I mean, I like going to some cemeteries. It'd be hard for me to go through somewhere you like states away just to see somebody's grave. But I have done that. Like I went to go see Billy the Kid's grave, and then on this last trip I went down to Lubbock, Texas, so I could go see Buddy Holly's grave. And while I was looking for his grave, and it's easy to find at Buddy Holly at the cemetery there because they have big signs, Buddy Holly's grave this way. But while I was looking for his, I found Mac Davis. You guys remember Mac Davis? He sang like he had 100 hit songs. He wasn't really country. He wasn't really rock and roll or pop. He was more like pop, you know. But he sang a lot of those commercials, Coke commercials, I think. But yeah, he was pretty good. I liked him, and I was glad that I got to see his gravestone too. It's all inside my videos, you guys. Just get on my page and search Mac Davis grave or Buddy Holly and stuff, and they're on there. Like I say, I will go see somebody's grave that, you know, that would seem like interesting to show. And I also have a cemetery that's in Hugo, Oklahoma. It's in deep south east Oklahoma. In fact, it's only like 30 miles, 30 or 40 miles away from Paris, Texas. So you Texas folks, if you want to go see a cool cemetery, drive up to Hugo and go see it's called, I can't remember the name of it now, but they have one area where this guy that owned a circus bought a whole complete area. So everything on that has to do with the circus. You know, people that performed in the circus and trainers and all kinds of stuff. It's pretty neat. Hey, John, I lived in Farmington, New Mexico for 36 years before coming to Texas. I subbed your channel. Oh, okay. Yeah, you saw my Farmington, New Mexico video. Yeah, there was I can't remember her name. There was a girl that used to come on here that we'd always talk to her, and she's still around. I don't know what happened. Whatever, I can't remember her name, but she lived in Farmington, and that's why I said when I go up there to see all those places up there in New Mexico, I'm gonna make sure and do a Farmington video. Hey, there's Skunk 8 Mysteries. How you doing, sir? How you doing, man? Doing good, man. Let's see. You stupid YouTube just sent me the notification that you were live 37 minutes after. Hey, at least they gave it to you, but there's a lot of, I think it's the way you handle it, really. Like on this live, I didn't plan it. I'm just sitting there and said, I'm just going to get on there and see if Mobile Tech gets on, you know, and he hasn't yet, to see if he's okay. So all I did was just did it real quick, you know. Other times you plan it out and you can sit there and it'll take you a couple of days and they might put out a notice, but when you do it real fast like that, I think it's hard for them to get it out there, you know. There you go. Tammy Fellows, Von Erich. I'm David Von Erich's widow. Skunk, I don't know if you remember Tammy from Brexton's live stream, but she's blessing us with her presence on my live stream today, so that's cool. So that's pretty cool. I'm glad to have you in here, Tammy, and I hope everybody follows you. There's Skunk 8 Mysteries. If you guys don't know Skunk Ape, he's gotten around. He's been around on YouTube, so go check him out. He's been on for a while, then he's gotten off for a while, and then he's been known to do a few lives. In fact, he did a live the other night, and I was surprised because he had all these ladies on there, about 7 or 8 different ladies, and they were all birthday girls, so he was on there talking about birthdays and all that stuff. But Skunk Ape has done some cool lives. He lives in Florida. He calls it Florida, but he likes to go to the beach out there, and he'll have his live streams out there. And it's pretty cool to see that when you're sitting there, even if you're just parking in the car or whatever, but to look out over the Gulf of America there, you know, and see the water and stuff coming up. He has some cool lives. So if you ever see a live, if you follow him and you see a live with him on it, go check it out. He might be out there at the beach. Hopefully anyway. Hint, 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 Thomas. Do us a live out there at the beach. I know you're busy with life. And that's the problem with most of us on YouTube. Even us retired people, you know. Us retired people sit there and we're retired, so it just takes us forever to do anything because we have so much time. But sometimes when you're doing all this stuff, YouTube and this and that, then you just have no time at all to do anything. I'm just kidding, but you know, I'm just saying, yeah, do it, Skunk Ape. That was a cool live. I remember one time, I think it was during the first trip or second trip out west I went up when you were doing, and I think I was in New Mexico, close to a camp spot or something, and you were out there at the beach, so I checked in there. That was kind of cool. I was going, how cool is that? Here I am driving on the road, you know, and getting onto your live stream, and while you're in Florida at a beach. That's pretty neat. What was that? It said I had a private because one of the ladies talking too much about her personal. Well, yeah, that could happen after a while if people have a bunch of fun and drinks before they come in. They're celebrating their birthday. They might say some stuff they don't want to hear. There you go, Tuber Chat. How you doing, sir? There's another guy that's good for your channel, you guys. This guy will promote your channel. You go follow him, get in with him, connect and grow. He's out there in Canada somewhere, and a pretty good guy. He shares all your stuff and gives you a lot of the exposure that you need. And I appreciate that. And thank you very much for stopping in the chat today. Hope you're having a wonderful time, Tuber Chat. Well, the problem with the beach live is I have to have at least 50. Oh, you have to. Okay. You don't have that many subs right now. Well, maybe we could help you with that, man. Everybody go sub to Skunk 8, man. There's Glenn Lester. How you doing, man? Haven't heard from you in a while. Have you been listening to any of the radios lately, man? The radio frequencies? There's been a few people on, man. So Glenn Lester is a local neighbor, not really local. He lives in the next town over, but me and him are both ham radio operators and stuff. We like to do that kind of stuff. Oh, you're in Niagara Falls? Oh, that is cool, man. That is cool. That is cool, Kevin. And thank you for dropping his link there, Arlene. And thank you for dropping everybody's link, man. Let's see. That's good, Glenn. That's good. That's exactly what it was. She went out to eat with her family after the high school, and then she had a few drinks, and then she came to your live and started talking. Yeah, that happens, but you can't chastise somebody for doing that, on their birthday and stuff. She's doing everything safely and had somebody drive her and all that stuff, and it's her birthday. So yeah, that reminds me, we're talking about there's Glenn's link right there. Glenn is a ham radio guy. He has one of the coolest ham radio call signs. His call sign is KE5EOO. Let's see. So let's see if you do it with the phonetically, it'd be Kilo Echo 5 Echo Oscar Oscar. But every time I say that EOO, it reminds me of EIEIO. Glenn's a good guy. I don't know if you're totally retired. I think you totally retired now, didn't you, Glenn? Or last time I was on a trip, I think you said it wasn't very much longer or something. There we go. And here's another one. There's another ham right there. KE7VLE. And also, let me write that down. Put it in my book. That way I could yell at you sometime. And Mobile Tech is a ham also, and I'm ashamed to sit there and say I don't know his call sign offhand. But Tammy says, "Thank you for the follow." Oh, you're welcome. Anytime, man. Anytime. I thought you had an interesting story, Tammy. Anybody that follows wrestling and the Von Erichs, and I'm sure you have some great stories to tell. Maybe one day getting on YouTube and building your channel up, like Skunk Ape said. I think you have to have like 50 subscribers or something like that before they allow you to do a live stream. But maybe one of these days you'll feel comfortable enough with yourself to talk about all that stuff, about the Von Erichs and stuff, because that kind of stuff draws a lot of followers and would get you a lot of views and stuff, and to actually be the widow of David Von Erich, So, yeah, that'd be kind of cool, So keep it up, Tammy. Keep it up. I'm not active much. Steve, a lot of us aren't active totally all the time, but it's so cool to have your license to be able to get on there whenever you need to, So, I mean, I have my ham license and the GMRS license, and I'm not hardly active at all, but I do monitor a lot. And if somebody does, act like they need help or they're lost or something, then I will respond. But and sometimes you feel sorry for these guys that are just starting out that they get on there and they keep yelling for a radio check and nobody will answer them. So yeah, I'll answer those guys and tell them. But the problem with my radios, I have a lot of like the businessman radios like Motorola's, and they don't have no meters in it and stuff. Like the modern fancy radios, they have all those waterfall meters and level meters and all that. So they ask for a reading and I can't tell them. I just tell them 5.9, 5.9. Yeah, you have GMRS too. That's cool too, man. Let me see. I am WRK 914. No, WRK 19914. No, let me see. W work. There you go. Well, I'll just have to keep this chat and write all these down. There's Glenn's GMRS. And Mo says, when SH nobody care if you have a license or not. That's true too, Key away. Yeah, that's true, and not a lot of people are intimidated, but I'll tell you, this is a kind of a sad story, but it involves a radio. So I'm going to tell you this last weekend or so. A cop and this guy was walking across the street, and somebody came by speeding, and they hit the cop, okay, and then they drove off, okay. So this other guy was freaking out, didn't know what to do, and I don't know if he had his phone available or not. But the first thing he thought of was after he see if the guy was okay or not, was grab the policeman's radio, his shoulder radio, and he called on the radio and he got the help to get there, and they took him away to the hospital, and he did that to the radio. Not a lot of people would think about doing that, but yeah, that's always the case. If something like like if the crap hits the fan, then you can do that kind of stuff, Well, I think they wouldn't mind you, like if you got in an auto accident, if everybody was, not able to get to the phone or radio, I don't think they'd mind if you grabbed the radio out of their car either and got on there and said something that said, we need help right now. Just be cool and calm when you do it, and make sure you give them all the info that they need to get there, and that's the way that you should do it. I plan on getting my license. I just need to get to the local radio club. Yeah, that's for ham. You'd have no problem with the ham one. And yeah, find the local radio club and just practice online until you can get 100% on the test online. But if you want the GMRS one, all you have to do is go to the FAA. I mean the FCC, not FAA, FCC, and then put in your application, and you get that the next day automatically. And the GMRS is FM only, but the license is good for you and your whole family. So anybody in your family, if you have any kids or a wife or anything, a woman's in your family, then they can use your call sign if they need to. Like if you guys go for a hike somewhere and everybody has those small radios, they can use those legally on a hike. They just have to give your call sign, and it's good. So that's what's good about the GMRS. There's no test. You pay, I think it's $30 one time, and it's good for 10 years. Yeah, I know. And I found that out this last time that I renewed my ham license, Mobane, or Tim, I mean. And I sat there and I laughed at somebody else because he was telling me about it. He just renewed, and he goes, I had a heck of a time, and I couldn't renew it by myself. I had to keep calling. Well, guess what? When I got on there, I couldn't do it either. And I know my FRS number, all this stuff, but so I ended up calling it like 3 times. And finally, on the 3rd time, I got this lady that I understand what she said. And she said, yeah, it's a little bit difficult, but we'll get you through it. So, just don't think nothing of calling them if you need help on that site. Let's see. Well, I tried to have a tea party with my daughters, but it's too windy. Oh, you can move it inside, can't you? Or You don't have a big tent that you could have one in? That would be kind of cool. Tea party in a tent. Crazy. No testing, just cash cow. Yeah. Yeah, and then the bad part about it, K and Mac, is you get a lot of people that that were just in CB and stuff, and there's nothing wrong with CB and stuff, but don't go right to a GMRS site and think they can still do the 10.4 and all this and give me your 1020 and all that. Just go there and learn the rules. They're a little bit more lax, I think, than ham radio, but you are still required to give your call sign, and that should be every 10 minutes. And I know a lot of ham people, they'll get to talking and talking and talking, so they'll forget sometimes. But then when one guy sits there and gives their call sign, everybody does. Yeah, that'd be cool. Tea and tent. Let's go have tea on the tent. GMRS is limited to a few frequencies. That's true, Mobang, but they are FM, and FM travels a very good distance for a local location to a repeater. So if you could hit the repeater, and make contact with the repeater, then somebody else can. So you can talk. That repeater gets you even farther out. Say the repeater is 30 miles away, and then you get into the repeater. That pushes your signal out for another 100 miles or so, and you can get a hold of people like that. It's more repeater based, but actually, if you use the FM UHF side of it for close, from car to car and all that kind of stuff, it works excellent, and it has good signal. It's worth it. To me, it's worth it. $30 for 10 years. Yeah, that'd be cool for you. You just try to, maybe you can put it in your, okay, since you're monetized and all that, start you a Amazon thing, and put your wish list up. Put your wish list up there, Shawnee, and I want one of those big tents that you could stand in and all that stuff, for my business, so you could sit there, If you got one that's big enough, you could even put like a little stove in there to keep warm in the wintertime, That'd be kind of cool. But a lot of people do that. They put the wish list, and I made a wish list myself and put it on my Amazon, and more of a joke at first because, everybody puts stuff in there, and I go, and then I looked at mine, and mine's all food and food and snacks and all that kind of stuff. So. Yeah, it's a good hobby, man. It's a good, honest hobby, man. And I think it's something else. And I think everybody should have access to it. And Kyle's back again. Welcome back again, Kyle. Well, I'm gonna probably go here in a few more minutes, and it'd be like an hour. And I didn't get to talk to Mobang, not Mobang, but I didn't get to talk to Mobile Tech, so you don't know if he's okay or not. I don't know if he's seen this. I don't know if he's in the hospital or what. So thanks. I'm over in other live stream right now, and I'm also working on editing a video. That's a good thing to do. What I do, Kyle, is I sit there. If I have a time off where I'm not recording or out somewhere, going somewhere, or doing something, I'll look through all my old videos and stuff, and I'll make little clips and stuff, and then I'll put those in a stockpile, and then whenever I feel like it, then I'll just release it. I don't have a timetable for releasing videos, and sometimes I think it's cool, but sometimes, I might make one that I think is going to be real good with the good music and all that stuff, and you guys don't like it. So that's why it's important that you guys say if you like it or not. So, but, sometimes what I like, you guys don't like. Sometimes what you like, I'm not doing right. So that way you have to tell me so I know what you guys like, if that makes sense. K-Mac Project, thanks for stopping in, man. I'm going to still be here for 3 or 4 more minutes, but thanks for stopping in, man. And I appreciate you stopping by. And I guess what's his name is still at the store. Yeah, he said. So Kyle says that editing app that I always use to edit my videos, and people always give me good credit. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I think that once you start doing it, people have an excuse where they don't want to make a video because they don't want to edit this and they don't want to edit that. But the only way you get better at doing it is over time, and the more you make and the more you do, you get better at that. Especially if you master the use of one program that you like the best, you know. So yeah, Mobang, you leaving too? Have a good one, man. Thanks for stopping in. Everybody, thanks for stopping in. Steve, Mobang, Sock Monkey, Sock Monkey, and Kyle's blog, Arlene. I appreciate it, man. You guys made my day. I didn't get to hear from didn't get to hear from Mobile Tech, but I'm sure that we'll hear from some sooner or later, man. Arlene, I'm glad you came in. I appreciate you so much, man. I appreciate it. Have a good rest of the day, and you guys have a good rest of Sunday, man. Get some rest out there, everybody, and be cool, man. And we'll talk at you later. Yes, Glenn, I'm back home. So thank you, Arlene. Thank you. Okay, so the countdown is on. It's 59 seconds. 59 minutes and 33 seconds. So I'll be here for 30 more seconds. Oh yeah, here we go. Good afternoon, everybody.